they were beautiful. Oh,
Sorry for that. Please
do you want me
continue. Please continue. No worries.
to? Okay. Beautiful outfits that I loved wearing over and over again. And she used to find so much joy and pride in making them. But not only that, it's so with time, obviously there would always be something that either would get torn or would get worn out, and that it needed fixing through obviously the use. And that clothing always used to end up back in my mom's sewing room, and it came out either fixed or even transformed into something completely different, which my siblings and I used to find so amusing. She'd always have us actually wondering what she would come up with next. So through this, I think that my mum practiced sustainability and circularity long maybe before it was actually even a term. I don't think she ever called it sustainability. I don't think she ever called it circularity, even. I don't think she ever called it anything. But it was just how she lived, and nothing ever went to waste. So for her, everything had potential to be either fixed or repurposed into something else. And if I look at my dad, he was exactly the same and still is. He's an incredible DIY person. He's genuinely exceptional at what I'd call creative problem solving. So he can look at something completely unrelated and see how it fixes something else entirely. So he loves repurposing. He loves finding a second life for things. And if something broke, you take it to him. He would rummage in his garage for I don't know how long, and eventually he would somehow bring it back to life in whatever way or form, but he would bring it back to life. So I owe that passion that I have for sustainability today to both of them. They lived it long before I ever studied it, long before it maybe had a name, and long before it might have been even a profession, because what they did, they just practiced it every single day of their lives. Really, that's what I can say.
Oh, that's really amazing. I mean, uh, just to add on top of that a little bit. So in my case, while I was growing up, if something gets a little damaged, I was really looking forward to get something new. You know what I mean? Sometimes I intentionally used to break or make some marks on it so that I would get something new, because back in
Yeah,
days,
kids.
that's like you get happiness when you
Yeah,
get new stuff. But
yeah.
how was it for you?
I think I could say I was the same. But at that time, obviously, I didn't realize unintentionally what my mum was doing, because obviously she wasn't throwing things away. But I didn't relate to that. And like you, I would have much better off got a new pencil case, got a new dress, got a new, everything new, because that's how it was. And you used to go to school like, oh, I got this new thing,
Yes.
I got this new shiny thing. But now I realize how important that what she did without even voicing it, really, because she never used to voice it. It's just the matter of fact of they do the thing and out comes another thing. That used to amuse me, yes, but still, as a child like you, I would have wanted a new thing to wear, or a new shoes to wear, but she always would find something to do with it to turn it into something else. And so did my dad, which was really great for both of them. I really used to love that, actually. But yeah.
And Karen, what was your dream like? Maybe before even getting into the dream, what is your academic background? Maybe we can share a little bit
Yeah,
on that.
yeah. So before I got into sustainability, my world was totally different. My world was in finance, investment operations. It used to be me looking at stock markets and shares and bonds and spreadsheets all over, and
Like the
numbers
Wolf of Wall
everywhere.
Street.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Numbers which you had to have a kind of precision for. And I used to love that. I genuinely used to love that, because the market movements used to really excite me. And I loved understanding how things work. So what I mean by that is I've always been someone who wants to get underneath something and really see how it fits together. And in this case, it was the underlying funds, the underlying investments, how the market is moving, and how they worked and what they were based on for it to have such an outcome. And then at one particular time, I had some investors asking me at different times during the year or in years that followed, whether we offered sustainable investment options. And a few months later after that, these questions just kept propping up. And it was at that point, and I remember it quite clearly, thinking, well, what do they mean here? What does sustainable actually mean here? And because I wasn't sure, and I was quite sure that even the ones around me weren't quite sure what they meant. So I started comparing. I started looking at the traditional assets we used to provide versus those that were labeled sustainable. What was the difference? What was their substance, or how good and bad were they? And the more I looked, the more curious I became. And the more curious I became, the more I knew I'd found something that I just couldn't walk away from. It was something there that was much deeper than I ever realized it would be. Something which now looking back is actually took me right back to everything that I'd grown up in the environment that I'd grown up in, without me ever quite realizing it until that actual very moment. So I could say it was quite kind of a pull, then more than anything, and that's the more I followed it, the stronger it got. So what I did is I didn't leave totally finance behind, because I still loved it. But I went on to learn the sciences. I gained my certificates in environmental management and ESG reporting, and I have successfully completed extensive training in carbon and water literacy, on which now I am working to introduce to SMEs. So I think I gave it my all, or at least I am still giving it my all, because you never stop learning, really. You never stop learning, as I wanted to understand it properly, and not just at the service level. So what I do now is essentially translate, and actually I made it my mission to translate all that I've learned, even in the financial world, together with the sustainability world, into something that is more practical, something more human, and something that a real small business owner could actually pick up and use. So I translated into modules, into frameworks, into toolkits that can help small businesses start. Because what I was finding again and again is that everything out there, I don't know if you agree with me or not, everything is built around big corporations. I don't know if you agree with me or not, because I think that's what it is. There's complex frameworks, and the jargon is just too much for the small businesses to bear. And apart from that, and I think the worst of all, is the expensive consultancy fees that would make any small business owner's eyes water before they've even started to consider sustainability, because everything is built around big corporations. So I realized that nothing, or very, very little, was designed for the everyday business owner who genuinely wants to do better, but that needed something that actually fits in the operational business in the operational way of a small business. And that gap, that space between what existed and what was actually needed, that's where Practical Sustainability was born, basically.
Wow. I see a lot of passion in there, Karen.
Yeah.
A lot of passion. But
Yeah.
let's take a few steps back. If you have to explain sustainable investments for a 10-year-old, how would you do that in a very layman terms? I know you come from a very strong finance background, so let's not use those technical terms, but let's keep it very simple.
Right. Oh, wow. For a 10-year-old. Right. So I would say a sustainable investment would be something you not only put something small as in money in, but something you put your heart in and your work in, that you would eventually see a return, not only while you are still here, while you are growing up, but possibly for your children, your children's children, your children's children, and hopefully it keeps on reaping the benefits further on than that. So if I had to explain it to a 10-year-old, that would be the way I would explain to it. It doesn't need to be monetary, to be fair, but an investment could be something that they could do at school, something that they could do at home, something that they could do in their community, something that will eventually lead to future benefits. Even if they don't see it now, they will eventually see the benefits, and it gives you such pride that you've done something that something good will happen out of it. So that if I had to explain it, that's the way I would explain it to a 10-year-old.
Oh, that's so amazing. Thank you. And you mentioned that right now you're also working on this toolkit, or it's already developed, I suppose, the literacy toolkit for
Yeah.
SMEs.
Yes.
I understand sustainability is not about only environment, right? It's about equality, it's about social governance. We also have S and G, but most of the time we try to disregard these and only focus on the environment, net zero goals, things like
Yeah.
that. And when we talk about social, upskilling is really important because now the world is changing with a rapid pace, right? People would like to equip with all those tools, frameworks, knowledge. And it's really good what you're doing out there with this literacy toolkit through Practical Sustainability. So why do you think small businesses, maybe one step back, in your view, what are these small businesses mean? What is the definition of a small business?
So when you look at sustainability in relation to small businesses, let me just say, so when sustainability comes to mind, it usually is put down to these large businesses trying to say what they're doing. They're being green here, that they're being green here, or they're doing this in their business to be more sustainable. But they forget that sustainability, small businesses are they form actually 90%. I don't know if you actually know this, but small businesses make up something like 90% of the workforce in many economies. So by removing the jargon, by removing the overwhelm that they have, and that they're allowed to use toolkits and frameworks and modules that are not too complicated. Um, if we could help just one business get sustainability right, the ripple effect is real. It creates another. It might help another business start because they could see that, oh, they've done it, we can do it too. We can do it too. So helping them means that change in one small business can ripple outward and flourish to even more businesses, because I think that their actions matter massively, even though they themselves often don't believe in it, or they don't believe in themselves that they can do it, or that they are not actually have started, because I can assure them that you have already started sustainability, but you're not naming it that way,
No.
basically.
Yeah.
No,
No.
definitely not. Definitely not. And that's what I try to do. I try to create something useful, something that actually fits in the way that they work every single day. Because I have always been drawn to small businesses. They are agile, they're creative, and they can make real changes within a short amount of time. But they are very much overwhelmed because they genuinely want to do better, but they do not know where to start. And another thing is they are continuously comparing themselves to the big guns, to the big companies, who they have, who these big companies have entire sustainability departments. They're not a small firm of 12. They're not a small firm of 10. And then they wonder why they're far behind. But I can assure you that you're not far behind. You're just looking at the wrong map. And I strongly believe in that. I strongly believe in that, because they compare themselves to the big companies and feel belittled at how small they are. When in fact, the aggregate of small businesses is so massive, and a ripple effect could send a wave of an ocean of sustainability, basically.
Yeah. Yeah. And what do you think the size of these small businesses is? Like, for example, a size of 20 employees, a revenue of 1 million or less than 1 million. Like when you say small
Um,
businesses, in your view, what is the definition?
So in my view, in the people and in the businesses that I work with, I deal with small businesses who have less than, let's say, 100 employees,
Hmm.
because they are I think they are the ones that are really, really left behind. They themselves, like you were saying, they need the upskilling as well. They need the training, even to understand some simple jargon sometimes. That you go in sometimes, or you get somebody messaging you or calling you, and they're like, well, what exactly is it? What do I need to do? And they feel so lost that I feel like, okay, let's take a step back. Let's tell you what it is first. Let's explain to you how it could mean in simplest terms in your business. Never mind the big corporation. Never mind what you see that brand's doing or whatever that brand's doing. You just don't look at them. Just look at you. Look at where you are, where you need to be, and you just work from there, because that's how I see it. You have to work from where you are, and then you build on gradually. That is the way to do it, in my opinion.
Yeah. And when we talk about business, right? These people, they talk money language, right? And most often when I speak with people coming from sustainability background, it's very difficult for them to talk in the language of business, right? So how do you deal with these kinds of things? Because how do you make sure that whatever the sustainability initiatives which you are, suggesting them or planning with them, how can you ensure the results are also quantifiable?
Yeah, so if you look at like we were saying before, so when somebody talks about sustainability, it's always about the big brands, it's always about the multinational supply chains, but they forget the small team of 12. That's it. They forget them. So and what I've come to understand is is this, that sustainability isn't something that lives out there and is separate from your business. It's actually within your business, inside your business, and it's there right now. So the way I try to help them is by saying these things like, it shows up in your costs. Every time you pay an energy bill, for example, that is higher than it needs to be. Every time materials go to waste, every time inefficiency is draining your bottom line, that is a sustainability issue, but it is also a business issue. It shows up in your people. So, how you treat your team, whether they feel valued working for the company, whether they want to stay, how you show up for them, the culture that you've built, and that is called social sustainability, but which is also just basically good management. And then it shows up in your customers. So I've seen the shift quite significantly, even in the last few years. So more and more people, and I think you do it and I do it as well, individuals and other businesses, they want to buy from those organizations that are responsible, that are transparent, and that align with their values. So they are asking questions they wouldn't even have asked for 5 years ago. And if you, as a small business, don't have an answer, they will actually find someone who does. That's it. And as well, sustainability also shows up in resilience. So if you're able to adapt, if you're adaptable to a shock, to keep going when things around you start to crumble in some way, that resilience is also sustainability at its core. But obviously, small businesses don't qualify it that way, don't quantify it that way. And they just need that guidance to say, oh, okay, I'm actually doing something, but I don't know how to translate it into a measurement. And that's what I try to do. That's the main aim of it all.
It's really nice how you put it. You look at balance sheets, you look at people, you look at culture, and you look at customers,
Yeah,
and then you derive your story from there to which direction we can.
move.
Yes. And how do you get insights on these topics? Like when you start a practical implementation with a company X, for example, You sit down with the people, make interviews, or how?
Yeah. In the beginning, before practical sustainability was born, I wanted to see what they thought. I wanted to see how behind they think they were. I wanted to see what they thought about sustainability in general. And they used to be so scared. They used to be like, oh no, I don't have to. Oh, one other thing that they used to come up with is, I don't know where to start. I don't have the resources. Um, I have no idea what it means. I could go on really. I I could I could be starting from absolutely rock bottom, so I've got no idea. And this is one of the biggest barriers to starting their sustainability journey is that belief, that strong, wrong, bad belief that they are starting from scratch, that that there's this blank page in front of them and that they have to figure out where to begin. And that feeling, and I can understand it automatically exhausts them before they've even started to actually do anything about it. And but here's what I find, and it happens every single time, that they're actually not starting from zero. You're already doing it. You reduce waste because waste costs you money. You look after your people because you either know them personally and they're not just numbers on a spreadsheet. You buy local because it's reliable and it supports the community that you're actually part of. You reuse your materials because it makes practical and sensible. It's a practical and sensible method, and you adapt quickly, well, because you have to. And these are all sustainability behaviors. These are all technically ESG behaviors. So what's missing in these small businesses isn't the action, because that is definitely already there. It's the language, it's the structure, it's the confidence to say, yes, so what I'm doing already fits into this framework of sustainability. And that's what they need. They need that little push to tell them, you're not starting from zero. You're not, you are somewhere. You have started. You've just got to believe in it, and you've just got to maybe follow something that would give you quantifiable measures like pen to paper. That's what I mean, pen to paper. And then it becomes apparent what they are actually doing. So to put it quite simply, what is often happening in small businesses is that every different part of the small business is working on sustainability without even calling it that. So you could have a member in the R&D department or in the product department already maybe making sustainable choices for the company in materials. Then you could possibly have someone in procurement who's already thinking about suppliers differently. You could have someone in operations who is quietly, in their own way, already reducing waste or maybe improving the efficiency. So as you can see, they are all sustainability actions, but they just haven't connected them together yet. So essentially, all these people would be working in silos. And when they bring those connections to the surface, when all these are brought together, it's usually the first breakthrough moment. So because suddenly the business itself can see itself more clearly, because instead of feeling left behind, they feel genuinely impressed or surprised by how far they have actually already come up with things, or have actually already forward they really are. And one of the very first thing we provide SMEs is a simple mapping exercise. It's not actually very complicated. It's basically just they need to map what's already happening in the business, where the gaps might be, where are the things that they're doing that they haven't recognized as sustainability yet. And without fail, every single time they find more than they expect, and the list just gets longer and longer with actions that they're actually doing. And suddenly, sustainability isn't this mountain you just haven't started climbing. It's a path you're already on, but you're just climbing it slowly. You just need to find ways to make it easier for you, and to quantify it, like I was saying. That's basically it.
Yeah. And you mentioned that when you sit down with them, they have no starting point and they're all confused. They have no clue what sustainability is. Who are these people? Are these the employees of these organizations? Because who would employ you in this case? Because how do they know they want to have sustainability in their organization?
Well, if you look at, if they, like I was saying, if they look at their energy bills
Hmm.
and it's higher than they could have it, then if they start measuring things like this, like energy, water, waste, then they could do something about it. And they could, if they have the toolkits and if they have the frameworks, they could actually refer to them or fill them up and to see where they're at and where they need to be. So what I give is the measurement factor. I help them measure because they could actually be doing, like we're saying, like they could actually be doing sustainability, but unless it's seen, unless it's written down, it might not be called that. So what I try to do is try to explain simply like what ESG first actually means. So
Yeah.
in relation to small businesses, if you look at the E, it's environmental. It's about how you use your resources, energy, materials, waste, water, transport. It's the everyday decisions that shape your footprint, what you buy, how long things last, how you manage what you throw away, and how efficiently you run your operations. Then you have the S, which is the social. It's about how you treat people, your staff, your customers, your suppliers, your community. It's essentially the culture you create, the well-being you support, and the fairness you practice within the business. And it is also how you show up for the community around you. The social is the human side of your business. And for most small businesses, this is actually where they're already doing so much, being so small. And because you know who you're working with. It's so small that you know your next colleague or the other one on this side, because there's not a lot of them. And it is sustainability, but they just don't frame it that way. And then you would have governance, which is about how you make your decisions in your everyday, day-to-day business. How do you run your business? Your policies, your risks, your accountability, the structures and systems that keep your business steady and trustworthy. How you plan, how you manage your information, how you handle challenges, how transparent you are with the people who rely on you. So governance is what gives your business direction. It's what gives your business consistency and essentially credibility. And that's exactly it. So when these small businesses first understand what ESG means for them, it stops feeling like this corporate like compliance exercise that they need to get their heads down into it. And it starts feeling like a description, because that's essentially what it is, of how a good, thoughtful business would operate. Because that's essentially what it is. ESG is not meant to be a burden. It's meant to be a support structure, and which is something that should help you run your business better, make clearer decisions, and communicate your actions in a way that others can actually understand and trust. So, for small business specifically, if you had to ask me, ESG works best when it's practical, when it's manageable, and aligned with what they are already doing, with the rhythm of their business now. And that's exactly the lens I would always bring to it.
Yeah, now I understand why you have the title of Practical Sustainability.
Yeah,
It makes
yeah,
sense, right?
that's exactly it. That's exactly it. That's
And do you
exactly.
have like any specific target industries you're focused right now?
I've worked with the food industry. I have worked with and like small business firms where it came to carpentry, or small business firms like um how can I explain it? The firms that I sometimes work with are sometimes even 20 employees, So I worked with 175, but 20 employees sometimes. I try and help them as well because if 175 employees, they find it challenging, 20 employees they find it even more challenging. So I actually, through the frameworks and through the toolkits, I try to make it as general as possible so that everybody can use. So everybody's got an energy bill, everybody's got a water bill, everybody has got a system and operation that they could maybe make better, reduce waste, have a stock take for, just these little things. Every business meet each other at some point to see how the business is going, no matter how small they are. And all these things could be a gateway to put sustainability into the operations in one way or another, where it could just be included and not be left as a side thing that could be left there forever when things get busy.
Agreed. And as a part of practical sustainability, what kind of offerings you have for these businesses? You mentioned toolkits,
Yeah,
framework.
frameworks and modules. So we have toolkits that they can download from the website and they can use in whatever shape, way, form they would like to. There's guidance for each toolkit. There's guidance for each roadmap. They can start implementing almost immediately. And that's the thing I like about small businesses, because as I said, they don't need to wait for long lists of approvals or like rollout plans, and they could just implement. That's it. You open the sheet, start what you need to start, follow it through, and depending on what you're focused on, you can get a result, you can get a starting point, you can have something measured. Then we have, so these are the toolkits, which have different things in them depending on what they want to focus on. Then we have frameworks. So in the frameworks, you'd have we have got a sustainability implementation framework, and we've got a circularity implementation framework. One that deals with first recognizing what sustainability is, and then it goes on to appraising your sustainability stance, seeing where you are, doing your materiality assessment, checking out what we mean by certifications as well, because certification is a huge thing. Sometimes we get small businesses, probably even the large ones do it, where they chase a sustainability certification and their eyes are like, it's this I want. But no, you have to look at what's best for your business. You have to look at what makes sense for your business. You don't jump. So if my competitor is getting, I don't know,
B
an
Corp.
ISO, whatever, B Corp or whatever, you don't have to panic and say, I want a B Corp. You just need to see what's right for your business. It might not be right for you. I'm not mentioning the B Corp might not be right for you, but it might not all be right for you. You just have to choose and work towards the one that works for you. And it's only through measuring, assessing, and going through the materiality assessment, the life cycle assessment of your product, and learning through the certification process, and then building up a report which shows you exactly what you need to be working on to move on to the next step of actually working on it. So that's the implementation. And then we've got the same thing for the circularity. So you'd have small businesses where they would be good at having one process, doing one process over and over again, but then they don't look at it deeper when say, oh, right, I could create another income stream from this. They don't look at that. They don't see waste as an income stream, which is a big thing. You could have something that's lying there that you're paying to get rid of, because that's the bigger thing. They're paying to get rid of it, which could be actually used to generate a new revenue.
Yep.
Because I was just explaining, I was actually reading and explaining to someone, because even a small bookshop could have that by implementing either take back schemes, or you give me the book back, I'll give you credit to buy from my book. You see, he not only generated a business because the client is coming back, but he also got the book back, so he doesn't need to buy extra inventory that would maybe hog his shelves, without them being sold or without them being circulated. So these little things that a small business could look at their model and say, oh, we could use this strategy to make this product more circular. And we could use this enabler because we've got strategies and enabler, and there are 24 strategies that they could use. The modules and the frameworks go really deep in them. And then we sort of through reports, we sort of help them decide which one works best for them, for their small business. And then we have another module or course, which is split into 8 parts, which is basically a deep dive into sustainability. It's called the Pathways and Foundations and Pathways of Sustainability, and it goes through everything from individual action, community action, business action, carbon footprint for an individual. And through that, we just wanted to make everybody realize that sustainability is actually not only for businesses, it's for us as well. Because every time we buy something, we're either encouraging a process, or when we don't buy something, we are actually manipulating, but influencing maybe a decision that maybe a product should not be out there, or a packaging should not be out there. And since I've started on my learning journey on sustainability, I've come to realize there's a lot more that needs to be taught. There's a lot more that needs to be done. We're not on the wrong path, we're on the right path, but there's a lot more that we could do on it. And I'm here to just help, even if it's individuals, just help everybody through it because I love it.
Totally agree. And do you also have any platform as such where people can use it for reporting or carbon calculation, things like that? Right now, your main focus is to empower them with these modules.
Yes, inside each modules, there are templates, sheets that they could use, which would help them. So there's one particularly for carbon footprint, which helps them, because the problem is a small business. You say the word carbon footprint and you've lost them. So you'd need to explain it. And I think module 6, I think it is, metrics and targets, targets that. It targets carbon emissions, the calculation to it. And all of the modules would have sheets, templates, so that they could actually see it happening. You're not just talking about it. You're not just watching a video about it. You're actually downloading something, using something that could help you maybe achieve something that in the end you'd feel proud that your business has started actually doing something on sustainability.
Yeah. And also, are these aligned with the EU sustainability reporting standards like CSRD, EUGR, SFTR, or
Yes.
CBAM? I mean, this list
Yeah,
goes
it's
because
an endless
it's
list.
an
Yeah,
endless list.
it's an
Yes.
endless. Yes, we strive to make the modules, the frameworks, the toolkits all in line with every single C's and B's and D's, the acronyms we mentioned, because they have to be, and because we try and incorporate most of them in the same without having any duplication of effort, if you know what I mean. So if you're doing something, it might be good for an ISO standard, but it might be good for the CSRD. So we've done that research to be able to have something that's holistic, that will apply for this ISO or the CSRD, the CSDDD, you name it. So we try and do that so that they won't feel like they're missing out on something. It's not always possible because it depends which angle sometimes you look at things. But that's what we try. We try and simplify it as much as we can for them so that they can actually start and do something about it.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you're based in UK?
Yes, we are. We are in Hampshire. We most of the things are we do a lot of like we are doing like online material, and we speak to our clients online, and we encourage the clients to follow the frameworks. There are some of the modules which require the company to send us reports back of what they're doing. And my colleagues, which have been working in sustainability for over 15 years now, will report back with a full report on what they're doing and how they could do it better, or maybe how could they improve, not essentially do it better, but improve on what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's what we try to do.
And your clientels are based in which regions? Like only from
Uh,
UK or Europe or?
Yeah, well, we have had companies from the UK. We have had companies from the East, and we have had companies from Europe. We try and we try and make it accessible to everybody, because sustainability it could mean different to me and you, but the underlying meaning is the same. So that's what we try to portray.
Okay, so you also operate on a global scale as well.
Yeah, yeah.
If there is a requirement somewhere in Singapore or
Yeah.
somewhere in South Africa, it doesn't matter for you, right? Because your modules are more generic as well.
Yes, exactly. And I'm actually working with I'm actually working on a plan to work with someone who is currently in Pakistan and would like to see sustainability there take off or actually start. But obviously, every region, every country, every continent have their own challenges,
Yeah.
and it's getting across that barrier first. But I see it as positive that some countries are really interested in doing something about it. It's helping them have access to the information, have access to the frameworks, the toolkits, and that it doesn't matter where you are in the world, you can start. That's it. There's no excuse.
No, no, there is definitely no excuse. And if people would like to uh, opt for this solution, how do they reach out to you? Via LinkedIn or?
Yeah. So if they want to reach out to me, they can either reach me on LinkedIn, as you're saying, or send me an email on practicalsustainability.coach@gmail.com. I'm mostly on LinkedIn anyway, so it doesn't matter. They can contact me through there, or they can contact us through the help on the website as well, the chat on the website. You can reach me anywhere, really.
Okay. And how do you find clients, Karen? Like, what is your outreach strategy, like marketing and outreach?
Yeah, so like I said in the beginning, I had done a market research on what was important for small businesses and why it was a niche market that I would love to get into, because I really genuinely wanted to help them. And then I started on LinkedIn slowly about 2 years ago, I think, 2.5 years ago. I was still in a transition from finance, which was a big thing for me as well. But I found that so what I try to do is whatever I post, whatever I put on LinkedIn, I always would like to send a message, teach somebody something. It's not a selling ploy, definitely not. So what I put out there is something that I must have come across. I like today. So I think it was last week I tasted a bar of Alter Eco chocolate.
Oh, wow.
It's really interesting. So they have, the wrapper just got me interested, and I went to research on it. And they are very sustainable. They are very regenerative. They're a regenerative business, and it just got me interested. And I studied a bit more. I went into the website, saw the sustainability reports, and I thought, oh, this is a good thing for people to know. And through that, I generated like a regenerative business post kind of thing. And from that one bar of chocolate, it just helped me understand more something which I might know, but if you see it from somewhere else, you might get a different perspective of what
Yeah.
other people are doing. And I learned about where the chocolate comes from, what their farm, how they treat their farmers. I learned that how they deal with agroforestry. I mean, I could go on, but it was so interesting that I thought, this deserves a post,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's what I did. So every time I learn something, every time I come across something, I just help others learn as well. That's
Wow.
me.
Wow. By the way, this is no paid promotion for that chocolate, right? No.
No, no, no,
No.
no, 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 no.
Just
But I
putting a
had to
disclaimer.
mention
You had to. But
it.
that's the interesting thing about sustainability, right? Because if you see something or some process or some company or some product who is following this practices, you cannot shut up without sharing it out there. You want
Exactly.
to, right? You want to
Yeah.
share their story because stories connect people.
And it's passion as well. Like
Yes.
probably you've seen it in me.
Yeah,
I'm like
yeah. A lot.
honestly, I have really become very, 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 very passionate about it. And what I'm doing as well is apart from obviously trying to um help a wider audience learn about sustainability in the most simplest way. I have teamed up I'm a sustainability ambassador now for Global Goals Connections. We are a group of people, a large group of people who are learning how on this journey to not only become more sustainable in our everyday lives and everything that we do, but like I'm saying, we portray what we're doing, we showcase what we're doing so that maybe other people could do the same.
Yeah.
And to have to have somebody else in the same team, in the same community, do something, it could, like a small business, ripple effect to somebody else doing something else. And apart from that, I try to, well, I was invited, like you invited me, to other podcasts and webinars where I truly want to portray that small businesses and even us as individuals can do something better for the planet
Yeah.
every day,
Yeah.
every day.
No, I think
Simple.
I think we need people like you definitely to voice out, right? Because everyone, not everyone can bring that story out in a simple way, like you are sharing it out. Because sometimes these topics, they're very complex,
Yeah, yeah, they
and
are.
you get lost
Yeah.
into all the depth of nitty-gritty details. And how is it going so far, Karen? Because you mentioned from last 2 years you've been in this journey. Is it good, bad, ups, downs?
It's it's good.
Mm.
It's got its ups and downs.
Yeah.
Because what we find is if a regulation is too far ahead, the priority goes way down on the list, way down.
Yeah.
But what we try to say is, well, it might be 2030, it might be 2027, which is actually next year. Um, uh, if you start now, you won't be huddling and trying to see what you're going to do in the last few 6 months before the regulation actually hits. Because if it hits, you can rest assured you've got fines on your head. You've got to try and find a way to scramble your way around getting a reporting strategy together, an ESG report together, trying to do something. But when you've got no plan, how are you going to do that? You have to have a plan. You
Yeah.
have to start. It's like a student. There's an exam coming up. Scrambling in the last half an hour before the exam
I was
doesn't
one of
really
them.
work. Oh, really? No, to be fair, I was the one who started studying 2 months before.
Oh yeah. Boy.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I used to sit down to be in my mom's kitchen. She used to
Wow.
hate it. In
You're
the
like more
kitchen.
structured and organized and
Yes, I am. I
planned
am. I
person.
am. I
Yeah.
am. I like structure. I like knowing what I'm doing because that from me, it gives out the best performance I could give. It's not performance, but the best that I could do. I
Yeah.
won't have any regrets after that.
Yeah. Yeah. And you would like to always be in control as well, right? Because if you plan ahead, if you plan
Yeah,
properly,
you're in
like you mentioned,
control.
you're in control and there is no space for regret because you
Exactly.
believe that you've given 100%.
100%.
If it is a
That's it.
success, it's a success. Let's say for whatever reason, if you couldn't achieve it, but still no regret because you
That's
gave
it.
your full.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the mantra I live by.
That's actually amazing because all the time, because I think there are few people who never learn. I'm one of them. So I know at the time of exams, I don't want to do it next time, but I keep repeating that.
Oh no.
But now I've
You need
changed.
someone like me.
Yes, I need someone like you. It's so amazing. And what was your dream like, Karen? Maybe it's good that you shared what you're doing and all these things, but let's talk a little bit about your personal life.
Oh, oh, my dream. Gosh, I don't know. Well, when I was young, I always wanted to be a singer, if that's what you mean.
Singer. Wow.
Yeah.
How's that going, by the way?
Oh, well, I sing at home. No, I don't. But yeah, but apart from that, I just
Was there like any particular reason you wanted to become a singer? Because of the fame, the
no,
no?
no, no, no. It's because I
Or was it
love
because of your
singing.
voice? I mean, you have got an amazing voice, so
I love You haven't heard it yet.
no?
No,
Okay.
no, I don't know. It just helps me unwind.
Yeah.
That's what I can say. It just helps me unwind. It's something that I love doing, even if I'm I'm on my own
Yeah.
in the house or in the room. I'll just, sing my heart out. Any new song I try to learn.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, that's me. And I love going to the beach, next to the beach, even if it's just with a good book.
Hmm.
Just sitting there and getting ready for the next week ahead.
Yeah.
It just makes my mind calmer. It just gives me the peace I need before a new week starts. And that is exactly where I was yesterday.
Okay. Okay. No, that's interesting. And maybe one last question from my end, because if I didn't bring this topic, then I cannot end it peacefully. Let's talk about the big gun, AI, right? I know if we start this topic, it goes for another 1 hour. But how do you see it? Because now people have access to cloud code. People have access to OpenAI released the latest version 5.5, and these models, they're becoming more and more advanced, intelligent, autonomous, right?
Yeah.
And of course, the first group of people who would get their hands are SMEs, because big corporations, they have to still validate the data
Yeah.
privacy and all
Yeah.
these things. But at least for
Yeah.
SMEs, they don't care, right? Because for them, they can immediately start experimenting. So how do you see
Yeah.
that will help for them in sustainability?
That's a good word, experimenting.
Experimenting.
Because, and the reason why I say it is they can experiment, but if they do not know what they're experimenting on, or if they do not know what kind of prompts, or how they can how can they put the prompts to an AI for them to be able to help them. You see, I believe AI can help. I'm not undermining it. I use it sometimes for my own things to learn myself and to better myself with it. But sometimes I see it as you still need to have a knowledge, some type of knowledge, before you go scramble on AI and for it to give you all these, like reports or something like that, because it could give you something that is totally undetached from what you really need. And you might not be able to notice that. So even though you could go on and ask for something and it will give you it like, oh, in a presentable way. And I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying that it is wrong. What I'm saying is it might not be to what you need at that moment in time. It might be too complicated. It might be too simple. It might be, I don't know, a million other ways. So get the knowledge in first in one way or another, and then you can move on to using AI to help the business. Simple prompts that you'd learn that could help the business in one way or another, but don't go in and just go, right, okay, let me see how I want to do this. Boom, and it brings out this report for you, a 15-page report. Sometimes it's too complicated that they would need to take a step back and learn the foundations first before trying to scramble with AI.
No, definitely. I've been also reading an article. The year 2025 was all about AI, where people were like, downsizing their employees and trying to get access to these tools. But year 2026, because these tools, they have to pay bills, right? Because
Yeah, yeah,
they have huge
definitely.
contracts for data centers, for energy, and all that stuff. There was an example where if you want to use a cloud, like up to fully efficiently, it would cost around 4,000 to 5,000 euros per month, the tokens cost. And a junior media level engineer would cost 3 to 4,000 euros per month. And now people are replacing these tools with actual humans again.
Humans again.
Yeah, so because at the end
It
of the
is.
day, it's a
Yeah.
balance sheet, right?
Yeah, that's it. And if they don't match,
They don't
then
match.
nah.
No, yeah. So I
No, no,
think
no.
it's also interesting how this cycle has been going on. And we have to, of course, wait and see what really happens, because all these big companies are also still burning a lot of money because of all the
Yeah.
capital they've got, but no returns yet. We need to see.
Need to see what will happen. What I say is to not use AI, because you still need to be in line with what's happening in the world.
Yeah,
You have to be. If you don't want to yourself, you're actually driven to do it. But then you have to take that step back and look at the human side of things as well. You have to have a bit of knowledge, even on AI in itself. I mean, even on AI itself, how it's used, what it does, what kind of results it brings out. It's a minefield of its own,
yeah.
and people need to balance both of them before actually believing everything an AI says. That's how I want to end that.
Agreed, agreed. So, Karen, thank you so much. Are there like any final remarks, suggestions, advices, or anything which you like to share? We have got like 1 more minute. So,
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah, so I would like to thank you on Earth Mission today.
thank you
It
so
was
much to
great.
you.
I loved it. But I just want to say directly to any small business that might be listening or looking or watching, I hope that something in this past hour has started to loosen that feeling of helplessness in sustainability, because the starting point isn't that far away. It's right there. It's inside what you're already doing, and you're not behind. You just need to start. You, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just need to start and build an honest relationship with sustainability, one step at a time. So yeah, that's it. That's it from me.
Yeah, thank you so much, Karen. I know from last 60 minutes, I mean, it was so much of wisdom and yeah, processes you shared, and I know how people can think. I think it's really important on the topics which you touch based, right? Because it really helps people to already start thinking about whoever is listening to this. And we also have this recording which we're going to put it on our platform as well, and I'm going to share you the link as well, so that you can also share it with your audience as well, so that it might be
Thank
helpful
you.
for them as a
Yeah,
starting
sure.
point, and then they
Yeah,
can reach out to you if they need more details how to really get started.
thank you. Well, I thank you again. It was great. And I just wish everybody out there a healthy, happy day, and take care of your businesses. That's all.
Yeah, thank you so much again, and
Thank you.
yeah, maybe talk to you
Yeah,
sometime.
I'll talk to you soon,
Yeah, soon.
hopefully. Take
Cheers.
care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.